Let me ask you something. When you see the Facebook logo, what do you think about? The good old days of college, friends and photo albums? Mark Zuckerberg stealing ideas, maybe? I don't know. I think about a company that spends more time in court than it does behind building products that actually benefit us. Teen social media addiction, meta glasses, privacy violations, and now consumer protection and child safety violations. So I keep telling these stories, and I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I don't want to report on things that Meta is doing wrong. I don't. But it's important to stay informed. Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And I think that Meta has shown us time and time again who they are and who they continue to be. So here's what just happened. A New Mexico jury found Meta liable for violating the state's consumer protection laws in a civil trial centered on child exploitation and safety failures. The jury ruled against Meta on every single count, and they ordered Meta to pay $375 million, the maximum allowed under the law. So the case started back in 2023, brought forth by New Mexico's Attorney General, Raul Torres. It came after an undercover operation where investigators created a fake profile of a 13-year-old girl. That account was immediately flooded with images and targeted solicitations from child abusers. During the trial, jurors were shown internal documents like mental health research and email chains where executives discussed sextortion, self-harm, and grooming, while on the outside, the company was publicly declaring that safety was their priority. The prosecutor's argument was simple. Meta knew. They knew what was happening to children on their platforms, and they chose to do nothing about it. Attorney General Torres called the verdict a historic victory for everyone's family that was affected by Meta's failures. And it is. However, something to note is this was a civil trial. Nobody's going to jail or losing their freedom because of what happened. What happens in a civil case is Meta, one of the most profitable companies on the planet, writes a check and they move on with their lives. A $375 million check that for them is the equivalent of a mosquito landing on an elephant. Barely a flinch for a company that was willing to lose $70 billion on a failed attempt to build the metaverse. And that's unfortunately why things like this don't change. We've talked about stuff like this before on past episodes. We've covered Meta's social media addiction trial. We've covered the privacy nightmare with Meta glasses. The through line is always the same. And consumer consideration, really, even, tends to come last, as long as they keep using the products and playing the game. Quite frankly, it is a love-hate relationship that I have with Meta. I don't love Instagram. I think that what it has become is actually terrible for society in general. It's super addictive, it's distracting, and leads to an unhealthy sense of self and community. I mean, research has proven that. But on the flip side, it's a central platform for anyone growing their brand or trying to establish visibility. A lot of us are building businesses on these platforms, and it's not a simple choice to just simply stop using them. But where does the line get drawn? Does it ever get drawn? In a world where these platforms are so central to our everyday existence, where should one find a balance when they operate in ways you fundamentally disagree with? I think it's a dialogue worth having. What do you think? Doctors have to take an oath. Do no harm. Meta has never taken such oath, and I'm really not sure that they ever will. The moral of the story is you know the facts of how these platforms operate, and I want you to move with conviction when deciding if and how you use them.